up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back.
All right, welcome back. We are going to take a look at the playoffs. And before we get into that, why don't we take a look at the league standings and then some stats. All right, let's start in the AFC North. Kansas City Smoke went 12-4 to win the division, and the Bruns-Tucky annexation will also be going to the playoffs. AFC South, Mechanicsville Generals, the only team from that division to go to the playoffs. They are 10-6. AFC East, the Meerkats are going to be the only representatives there at 11-5. And in the AFC West, we've got two teams. The Tiki Pineapple Bikinis won the division, and the Oaktown Beachmasters came in second, finishing just a half a game behind them at 10-5-1. NFC North, you've got the Hollyhawks winning the division at 11-5. The Madtown Marauders sneak in at 9-7. In the NFC South, the Culver City Krakens, with the best record in the league, finished 13-3. They win the division, and the Kensington Dragons will go to the playoffs as a wild card, finishing 10-6. NFC East, that was a tight one all year. The Tewstown Gim end up winning the division, finishing 9-7. The Lumberjacks also finished 9-7, but do not go to the playoffs. And in the NFC West, we are the only team to advance to the playoffs. We finished 12-4. Incredible defense if you look at that points allowed. Battery came in second at 9-7, and the Revolution should have the first pick in the draft at 2-14. All right, let's take a look at some stats before we get into awards and the Pro Bowl. So we'll take a look at NFL leaders in passing to start. And the highest rated quarterback was Freddie Hicks of the Kensington Dragons with 96.1. Ahmad Mark ended up finishing back in second at 84. Most passing yards, also Freddie Hicks. Passing touchdowns, we've got a tie at the top between Connor Gillespie and Tyson Johnson with 24. Freddie Hicks had 23. Ahmad Mark is on the screen with 17, even though he missed 3 games. So 24 touchdowns, that's not that many. All right, interceptions. Ahmad Mark leading the league with interceptions, 16 interceptions in 13 games. Tyson Johnson, Connor Gillespie, who are the touchdown leaders at least, come in second there. Longest pass went to Terrell Pryor and Josiah Reed. Most sacked quarterback was Jake Brooks, 40 times. Freddie Hicks had the most completions with 317. And the most attempts with 516. He had the best completion percentage, despite all of that throwing. 61% of his passes complete. Ahmad Mark falls below 60%, unfortunately. Average yards per attempt is going to go to the two Colliders quarterbacks, Josiah Reed with 9 and Ahmad Mark with 8.7. And average yards per game goes to Freddie Hicks, Sean Sanders, not Shedeur Sanders, and Ahmad Mark is in third place at 210. All right, rushing, we have two guys who cracked 1,700 yards. That's Jabri Thomas and Kerry Barksdale. Alan Nixon finished with exactly 100 yards per game. So a lot of great running backs. We wish. All right, yards per carry, Jabri Thomas leads the way with 5.1. And Jabri Thomas has the most touchdowns with 16. And the most yards per game with 110 yards per game. Darius Childs fumbled the ball 9 times, and Alan Nixon with 64 broken tackles. That is 4 per game. That's very impressive. Longest run, Matt Hardy's 99-yarder, and Devon Kirkwood, always up to no good, had a 98-yarder. Let's take a look at receiving. 84 catches for Jarrett Babich, 1,144 yards for rookie out of Boise State, R.J. Alford. So that's a great rookie campaign. He was drafted in the 2nd round. Okay, not bad. Connor Jones finishes 2nd in yards, and really too bad that we did not complete the second half of the season, because Even though he only played half as many games, Morgan Montoya is not that far behind. Average yards per reception goes to Montoya. Yards per game went to Montoya. Of course, he only played 8 games. Receiving touchdowns, Kadron Trammell ended up with 11. RJ Alford and Eric Redd each with 9. And then Jerome Gray and Morgan Montoya, 8 touchdowns in 8 games. Yards after catch goes to Connor Jones. Incredibly, just 5 yards back with half as many games is Morgan Montoya. Yak average is Morgan Montoya. Connor Jones dropping all sorts of passes. Long of 84. Ron Lewis, our guy, is tied. All right, Brendan Robinson had the most pancakes. And Ramel McKenzie gave up the most sacks. Dylan Mason had 140 tackles to lead the way. Chris Whitney had 12 tackles for loss. 11 for Dallas Weatherford. And take a look at Javik O'Neal, the nickel corner with 9 TFLs. It's pretty good. And is that our guy, Ronald Taylor, with 8 sacks, 16.5 for Nash Johnson. Our leading sacker was our Javik O'Neal corner with 7. 7 interceptions for Willie Ward. Cheeseborough gets on there with 5, although I think technically he had 6. That one was overturned. But they still kept the ball, so that was weird. But anyway, he had 6. Elijah Wright, second place for interception yards behind Willie Ward. Jamal Ferguson had a 66-yard interception return. Kilo Austin had the longest one, and that was against us. And Kelsey Millette has 5 forced fumbles. It's pretty good. 4 fumble recoveries for a bunch of guys. And fumble yards are up there as well. Some blocks. Some safeties, none of our guys. 2 touchdowns for Willie Ward, 2 touchdowns for his brother Mike Ward. 37 field goals for Brendan Seacrest to lead the way. Connor Duncan completed 96% of his field goals, or converted, I should say. 56 was the field goal long. Andy Gary had a 55-yarder. Blocked field goals. I think we're going to be on this list as well. Andy Gary had a field goal blocked for the first time in his career. 40 extra points for Cooper Marzion of the Kansas City Smoke. 39 for Andy Gary. At some point, we need to be leading the league in that. Some of these guys had extra points blocked. How embarrassing for them. And Andy Gary had 74 touchbacks on 77 kickoffs. Very impressive. Punting, Malcolm Myers only had 48 punts, but they're going to give him the lead for average. But if we were to go to net average, you can see that Casey Sellers 54.9 is far superior to everyone else. It's just that he only had 27 punts on the year. Man, these guys are punting like crazy. Jesse Mack is the leading kick returner, and a bunch of guys had kick returns for touchdowns. David Perkins is the leading punt returner, and Matt Hardy and Brent Lawrence both returned 2 punts for touchdowns. And so that's a look at the season stats. Now let's take a look at some team stats. See how the Colliders matched up against the rest of the league. Offensive stats, the Silvertips had the most offensive yards, or most yards, I guess, total yards. Dragons had the most offensive yards. Well, I don't see us in there. Most passing yards, there's the Colliders with 3,280. Most rushing yards, 2,200 for the Reapers, and we are in dead last with 797 rushing yards. Points per game, we're right up there with the leaders at 21.8. You can see that this is not the modern NFL. Passing touchdowns, we have 22. The lead is 29. Rushing touchdowns, the lead was 18. We had 16. Not too bad. Sacks allowed, well, we're kind of in the middle. We're not the worst. We're not the best. First downs. So Scorpions with 262 of them. Colliders with the fewest number of first downs in the league with 173. All right, let's take a look at defense. I feel like we're going to be leading a lot in defense. So total yards is way lower than anyone else for us. Passing yards, we lead in that category. Rushing yards, just a little bit better than the Pirates against the rush. And points, dominating. We do not give up many points. 171 is barely more than 10 a game. Okay, the Hollyhawks engineered 49 sacks. That is an area we struggled with this year. Let's see where we are. Colliders, I see them up there. 36 sacks. So I guess not too far off the pace. Fumble recoveries, 15 for the Krakens. I don't know where we are. 8 for us. Interceptions, we did lead the league in interceptions with 24 of them. They were kind of spread out among all the players on our team. Conversions, third down conversions, the annexation lead in that. And in attempts, third down percentage, 46 is the lead. We're neither near the top nor the bottom. We converted 11 fourth downs, which makes us pretty aggressive. We attempted 21 fourth down conversions, and that's just over 50%. There we are at 52% of our fourth down conversions. 2-point conversions, not a lot of those happening in this league. Most is 6 attempts. In the red zone, we had 49 attempts, 31 touchdowns to lead the way, and 14 field goals. So not the best offensive red zone percentage, but not terrible, 91%. Okay, against people coming in for the red zone, we only gave up 22 defensive red zone attempts. Out of those 22, we only gave up 9 touchdowns. That's pretty good. And 7 field goals. So we led the way in defensive red zone percentage, only giving up a score 72% of the time. Let's see, I'm sure we have the fewest penalties. Yep, we committed 7 whole penalties all year for 63 yards. Turnovers, we finished +4. We gave the ball away 27 times, 21 interceptions, 5 fumbles lost. We took it away 31 times, with 24 interceptions and 8 fumble recoveries. All right, and that is your team stats rundown. Now let's take a look at the league awards now that we finished the regular season. So Freddie Hicks is your MVP for the Dragons. Offensive Player of the Year, also Freddie Hicks, followed by a bunch of good running backs. Defensive Player of the Year is a rookie, A.J. Crosby, a left end. He was drafted in the 3rd round, and he ended up with 68 tackles and 15 sacks. Incredible. Offensive rookie goes to Gerald McGrew. Not surprising there. Ahmad Mark finished in 3rd, even though he had not an amazing year, 17 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Defensive rookie of the year is also A.J. Crosby. Got confused there because he was defensive player of the year. I thought I'd already seen that. He's also defensive rookie of the year, which makes sense. Ronald Taylor makes the list at number 5, and he was a guy we picked up as a free agent. Best quarterback, Freddie Hicks, Ahmad Mark 2nd. Best running back, Jabri Thomas. Best wide receiver, R.J. Alford, a rookie out of Boise State. Morgan Montoya, in half a season, finished 3rd in this category. Best receiver, not bad. Best offensive lineman, Deontay Kirby from the Krakens. Best defensive lineman, obviously, A.J. Crosby, who came in and just played lights-out football in his rookie year. Best linebacker, Kip Ahrens. He played for the Squids. He is 6'7", 268, and plays linebacker. That is bonkers. Best defensive back is Willie Ward. He's out of Washington. This is his 2nd year. His 3rd round draft pick. Okay, pretty good overall numbers. Javik O'Neal finished 4th in that. Best kicker, there we go. It's Andy Gary. And the best coach is Hunter Ohm. Amari Jenkins finishes in 2nd. Now let's take a look at the Pro Bowl. Who, if anybody, from the Colliders will be named an NFC Pro Bowler. Freddie Hicks is the number 1 quarterback, but Ahmad Mark going to the Pro Bowl in his rookie season. Fullback, Jason Broussard, Pro Bowl. And take a look at that. Morgan Montoya in 8 games is a Pro Bowl wide receiver. And AJ Muse, who tried to step up in his absence, he also made his first Pro Bowl. So both starting receivers for the Colliders Pro Bowl bound. Alexander Williams makes his 3rd consecutive Pro Bowl from defensive tackle. And Javik O'Neal makes his first ever Pro Bowl in his 4th season, our nickel corner. Elijah Wright makes the Pro Bowl again at free safety. And that is a look at the Pro Bowl. All right, so we are in the wild card playoffs where the Colliders have a bye this week. But let's take a look at the schedule and see some results. All right, we'll start with the Beachmasters at the Meerkats. That's a good one. 10-5-1 and 11-5. And the Meerkats win this one 22-10, and they will advance to the divisional round. Now for the Marauders at Hollyhawks. The Hawks go crazy. 47 points. All right, let's take a look at the annexation at Generals. And the Generals win this one, a close one, 27-24. And they'll be moving on. Now let's take a look at the Dragons at the GIM. The Dragons have Freddie Hicks, your league MVP. But the GIM have Gerald McGrew, and they are able to score the upset victory over the Dragons. Gerald McGrew had 26 carries for 206 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added 2 catches for 33 yards. What a game for Gerald McGrew. All right, that means we draw the Hollyhawks in the divisional round. So let's take a look. We'll start with the Generals at the Smoke. All right, the Kansas City Smoke was the highest scoring team in the league. Let's see if that's true in this game. They are able to dispatch the Mechanicsville Generals 27-13. Tuestown GIM goes against the #1 team in terms of record, the Culver City Krakens. Can Gerald McGrew do it again? He cannot, as the Krakens win this one 22-6. All right, Maryland Meerkats at Tiki Pineapple Bikinis. And the Bikinis are going to take this one down 27-19 to move on. And now let's see if the Colliders can sim well against the Hollyhawks. They do win a barn burner, 35-30. Let's take a look at the stats in this one. So Ahmad Mark, not a huge game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and just 137 yards passing. But Brian Harris did something that we've never seen before, and so did Will Davis, averaging double digits, 211 rushing yards for Harris and 2 touchdowns. Fumbled twice. That's weird. All right, so just getting it done on the ground. Not much going on with the receivers. Okay, blocking. Okay, on defense, we've got 15 tackles for Leon Stewart. Okay. Sure, buddy. I mean, I think this team would sim pretty well. 1.5 sacks for Sean Arnold. No interceptions. Leon Stewart forced a fumble. No defensive touchdowns. All right, so the Colliders will move on. 2 field goals. I thought they just scored 5 touchdowns. How many extra points? 3. Okay. Okay, we will start with the AFC Championship game, the Bikinis at the Smoke. And the Smoke take this one down handily, 31-12. They're going to the Super Bowl. Now the question is, will the Colliders go as well? The Colliders advance 22-15 over the Krakens. And for the second time in 4 years, they'll find themselves in the Super Bowl. All right, Josiah Reed came in this one for a struggling Ahmad Mark and threw a touchdown pass, looking good. Brian Harris had another huge game. He's going crazy in the playoffs with the sim. And Morgan Montoya back in action. 6 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. So 12 tackles for Jaquez Price. I wish I could get these tackle totals playing the game. All right, let's take a look at the Pro Bowl. Not that we care that much. AFC wins 38-28, and we're going to face the Smoke in the Super Bowl. All right, make sure you click subscribe and like, and don't miss Super Bowl 49, where we take on the Kansas City Smoke. Peace!